Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. It is myself, Frankie, and Trent. I got this new light. To be honest, it's very distracting. It feels like somebody took the sun and just brought it right in front of my face for the entire podcast. So I'm looking. Everything's different than it's ever been. All the other 300 shows we've ever done. I think it looks better. My issue that I would run with is all my lights in my apartment come from the ceiling, and I like to wear a hat, so I would just have a shadow over my face, and now I got a light in my face. I think it looks better.
I think it looks better. That's showbiz, baby. You know, you got to look your best at all times. Frankie knows that.
Yep, that's Broadway, baby. Bright lights.
$19 on Amazon. This little light thing was. I think it's pretty good. It's got like 7 different switches. I don't know what those are. I guess they it was too hot. Is that what you were saying earlier? Too hot. It
looked like a surgical light. Like it's too sterile. And then you got to press a couple buttons to warm it up a little bit so you don't look like you're about to go onto the knife, which I think you have figured out.
Yeah, we had to warm it up. You're right. That was the terminology. We warmed it up. So
I had one, but it's dead. That's why you can see there's a dark spot right here. You know?
Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that. You know?
Look at my fucking view right now. I'm going to send you guys this view. I'm taking a picture of my view. I mean, it's just very distracting having this fucking.
You can take it down.
Whew. No, I like it. I think it's better. I just, it's change for me. It's change. It's something that's brand new. So yeah, I'm sending that to you guys right now, and yeah, it's just quite different. Anyways, we're gonna talk a little bit about. You see that? It's like it's like a UFO is about to abduct me or something. It's blinding me and trying to disorient my senses, and then trying to do the podcast. But hey, it's a big week. Tiger Woods. So we're going to speak to you now. We are speaking into your eardrums. The following time that we do, Tiger Woods will have played another golf tournament with his son Charlie. There's an enormous amount of anticipation. The mannerisms, that video is going re-viral. PGA Tour did like a re-viralness of it, which we can get into. So we got obviously PNC to talk about. We got several from the galleries to speak about. Every time I've ever said that phrase, we never get to any of them. So we'll see. The last show we did on Tuesday, we spoke no golf, pretty much none whatsoever on this very golf podcast, one of the great golf podcasts in the world. So we'll see what the fuck we get to. Anyways, Owen's Mixers went to the Monday Night Football on obviously Monday in Arizona. And yeah, it checks out. And their kind of cocktail of the stadium was the Barstool Transfusion by Owen's Mixers, which is extremely cool to see. I know that they have the Owens Mixer, the Transfusion, all that at the Islanders' new rink, which Trent's 1-0 at. Is that a correct record?
It's correct. He's 1-0. He's seen the only win at UBS Arena, and now that has carried into the locker room where the team and the organization knows that Trent might have something to him, and they're not letting that slide by. So for tomorrow night's game, which is tonight when you're listening to this, Trent will be in the building again as a guest of the New York Islanders, because at this point, like, you have to pull out all the stops. If Trent was the difference, he has to be there for every game. If they lose tomorrow, we kick him to the curb and it's over. The season's over. So, but if they win tomorrow, Trent might go on a miracle run here at UBS Arena. So yes, they do have Owens Mixers at UBS. It's the cocktail mixer of UBS and the Islanders. So it seems like it's popping up everywhere. CVS it's all over the place. No matter where you go, you can see that little Transfusion logo. It's pretty remarkable.
So yeah, you can use GoPuff. You can get that thing same day delivery. You could get Amazon and do it the next day. OwensMixers.com. You go check that site out. They got the store locator, so you can pick it up anywhere you would like. And it's not just the Transfusion. If you want to mix it up, no pun intended. They've got grapefruit and lime, cucumber and lime. They got a margarita mix. They got really, really good stuff. Pour it in with your favorite liquor, and you just have a great cocktail. It's that simple. They got, you can order even different kind of kits that'll give you a few different bells and whistles to really spice up your cocktail and make it elite. But it's already elite with their mixer. So great work by Owens. We appreciate them very much. Band of Dunes, episode 3. Sheep Ranch will be coming out tonight when you are listening to the show on our YouTube channel. We'll be in there. There we do the premiere for the first hour. I believe 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we're going to be launching that on, again, our YouTube, Foreplay Golf. Go check us out if you have not already. Put a lot of videos on there. Sheep Ranch is, of course, the newest Bandon Dunes Golf Course. They have 5 courses ranked inside the top 100 in the United States of America. Sheep Ranch is their newest, opened a little over a year ago, like a year and a half ago. Court Crenshaw, it has the most, I believe 9 green sites are on the ocean, on the cliffs. It's got staggering views, no bunkers. It's the highest in terms of elevation and exposure at all the courses on Bandon Dunes. So you're just perched up in every angle. You're looking down the cliff line. You're looking over all the waves, the rugged waves crashing into the rocks from high above. It's stunning, and it's got the best opening hole by far. And we get out there and we play it and we film it and we do our fucking thing on YouTube. So check that out.
I don't often get to say this, so I'm going to take this opportunity now. I played really well.
Oh yeah.
I certainly on the front 9 and then we get to the back 9, whatever. But I don't get to say that very often. So I played really well. If you want to see me actually play good golf, I know in the last video, I may or may not have whiffed on a ball, which is so funny because we shoot these videos and then they don't come out for a couple months, and I kind of forget what happens. We talk about golf brain on this show. Riggs remembers every shot. I remember none of the shots. And I was watching that last episode of Bandon, and I just whiffed on that ball. Didn't even touch it. Didn't get any part of it, and that was embarrassing. A lot of people watched that. A lot of people saw that. So now, Sheep Ranch, you go and watch this one tonight. I play better, and I hopefully redeem myself. Although it's hard to come back after a full-time whiff in front of hundreds
stunned.
of thousands of people.
When I saw you whiff, I was stunned. When I saw you on YouTube whiff, I was stunned. I had forgotten. I didn't know that it really occurred. I wasn't there to witness it in person, and we kind of talked about it. But again, I just like, haha, whatever, he kind of whiffed. Yeah, he swung really hard on a ball just sitting on the fairway, and you just didn't come close to actually contacting.
The ball wasn't moving, dude. The ball was. It's like someone pulled a string from under you on the ball. It was like one of those little mouse traps.
It's with my golf game, it's 5 steps forward, 18 steps back sometimes. Just when it goes bad, it goes really, really bad. Like, I think the fundamentals of my game are far better, and that's all thanks to John Tillery just teaching me and grinding it into my head how to swing a golf club properly. But then sometimes I just forget what's going on and the bunker incident happens, or I completely swing and miss on a ball, or all these tragic things happen to me every once in a while. Hopefully they happen, fewer and far between since I've had lessons, but they're still going to happen. And every once in a while I'm going to whiff, or I'm going to hit into the biggest sand dune on planet Earth and have to climb up it and hit out of it a couple times. It's just, my game is just up and down almost more than anybody else's.
Yeah, and you're playing in front of a lot of people on screen. That's not the easiest thing to do. When we have these premieres, we're in the chat. I'm always mixing it up with the people in the chat. I was going absolutely hard in the paint with people last time. I'm cursing them out. They're cursing me out. I love it. It's just the mud on YouTube, and we just
still
hate
put
each
people in
other.
timeout? You still putting people in timeout?
So I've been watching the last couple ones on my phone, so I don't have the access. But maybe tomorrow night. Oh, tomorrow night I won't be able to. I'll probably watch it. I'll probably have it on during the Islander game, so I'll have it on my phone. But when I watch it on my laptop, I have the access to put people in 120-second timeouts. I let them think about what they've done, and then they can join the classroom again. But it's fun. Like it's fun to just like shit on people that are shitting on you, and then they shit on you for shitting on them, and then you're all just friends at the end. You say thanks for watching the video. We'll see you next week. But yeah, there was one moment where like we just must have miscounted my shot, and I was sitting 6 instead of 5, and like and they couldn't fucking get over that. And I'm like, it's match play. I was out of the hole anyway. Like, yeah, I understand that I was probably 1 stroke off, but there's so many times where we pick up anyway. Match play is match play. It's a certain style of golf. Like, and for the fact that all these people watch that and they're like, well, that was a gimme. Like, that wasn't a gimme. It's like, well, we were out of the hole and we picked up. Like, that's what all your favorite fucking golfers on tour do on the week when they have weeks off and they just play with their buddies. You think they're fucking playing ball and hole? You think all your favorite hockey players that go out there and play on the fucking weekends, you think they play ball and hole? Like, that's just the game of golf that you all play that you're listening to. We just happen to have a camera following us every single shot we take. So it's going to look like, oh, wow, that guy's picked up. Like, well, the guy just gave it to me strategically because he didn't want me to putt it because Lurch is behind me putting for 4. I'm putting for 5. They're not giving it to me because I'm going to give them the read. Learn the game for 1 second.
This is why I stay out of that. I stay out of the chat. I don't get into it with these folks. The worst part, Frankie, is that if it were to go the other way, where you're grinding and lining it up, then they'd be bitching about pace of play. They'd be like, these fucking assholes are holding up the entire golf course. Look, match play, 100%. You're saying match play is match play. Now, yeah, you're going to and you're supposed to try to record the most accurate score that you can, post every score you play for your handicap. We're playing the way that everybody plays.
Everybody.
And if you are sitting there grinding over a 4 or 5 or 6 foot putt for bogey or double when your team is already in for par, if it's a hole where your group is way ahead, you guys are flying, fine. If it's a normal round of golf where everyone's out there at the resort, everyone's trying to move along and keep going, and there's wind, and it's going to be grindy, and you're trying to play in 415 or 430, you should be picking that ball up 100% of the time. And a lot of times, it's just a good feeling to go, partner, great par, this 4-footer's for bogey, scoop it, move to the next hole. That's enjoying golf. And guess what? The only reason we fucking play golf, the only reason we talk about golf is to enjoy the whole thing. If you want to pick up 40-footers and the other guys in your match are fine with it, go ahead and pick up 40-footers. Why would I care what you pick up?
Who gives a fuck is at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? And also, like, they're like, no, that wasn't that. You're trying to be someone you're not. I'm not trying to be anything on the golf course. I'm trying to get that ball in the hole, and if I don't give a fuck. And I know that may sound like you don't want to hear that. I don't care when that ball gets in that hole. I like to play the game of golf. I don't care how. Yeah, like at certain times I get frustrated because I think it could get in that hole quicker. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be someone that wants to be the person that gets the ball in hole quicker. Like, I just want to be the person that golfs. That's genuinely what I want to do. I just want to golf. I don't know what comes with that. I don't know what the outcome of that is. Just like Trent does. We can all learn a little something from Trent and Breaking 100. You go out there and you just try and play the game of golf. I said that to him a million times during that series. Well, let's stop trying to make a score and let's try and play the sport. Like, what are we doing? It's the only sport where you're like actively trying to think about like every single part of the outcome. Like, you really do that in fucking hockey? No. They always say, don't look at the scoreboard, boys. We're just going to play our system. We're going to keep pounding the goalie. Every shot you take, it doesn't matter where it goes. Let's just get pucks on net. That's what we do in golf. We just fucking figure it out.
Start of the third period, you could be up 3-0. It's 0-0, boys. Every time you come out of the locker room, you go 0-0, boys. Here we go. We got to grind this.
I just try and play the sport, man. That's all I try and do. And if at the end of the day you don't like that, or you don't like what my score is, or you think that I think my score was too low or too high, I don't give a fuck. I just try and get that ball in the hole, and I like to have fun. That's it. That's what I try and do every single time I go out there. And that's what everyone should do, man.
No, it's right, because early on in Breaking 100, or maybe halfway through it, we started to get caught up on the numbers. Like after 5 holes, we'd be crunching the numbers with a calculator, and at a certain point, you were just like, let's just go out there and play 18 holes and see what the score is at the end. And then once we're done there, and if it's under 100, we celebrate. If it's not, we come out here next week and we do the same thing over and over again. But let's not stress over the number or gimmies or any of that shit. It's just like, go out there, and if you whiff, you whiff. Like I was saying it jokingly, but like
you definitely whiffed.
Like I was saying it jokingly, but like I could have had that footage shot into the sun. Like if I was just like, oh, I'm embarrassed by this. Like I actually don't want to put that out there. I don't want to deal with like what people are saying. I honestly don't give a fuck. Like I wanted to put that out there. Tons of people saw it. Tons of people were like, oh, I've done that before. It ends up being like a relatable moment. The most embarrassing thing you do on a golf course, you feel shame for no reason, because if people watch it, the majority of the response will be, I've done that before. Because you know what? Golf is fucking hard. It's really hard.
Also, that's such a great point. Like if you're a listener and a watcher of our YouTube videos and you think of every single embarrassing moment that's come out on those videos or on this podcast, you also have to remember that we've been given the option to leave that in or take it out. We watch the videos before they come out. We sit down with Brendan and Jake and we see all these things, and we get the choice. There's no gun to our head that says like this has to go in. Trent could manipulate that footage to be a scratch golfer if he wants to.
Right.
Like you would have no idea. And he goes out there and posts 125s at Bethpage Black. Like that, like I don't know that the general public would sign up for that, to be able to do that. Like all the shots of me looking like a fat piece of shit with my barrel hanging out. The picture of me on New Year's Eve last year when I had my fat face, I tweeted that out from one of my friends' accounts who doesn't even have a Twitter. They never would have, my friends' phones who never would have tweeted that out. That never would have seen the light of day. But you know what? We choose to put these things out because I honestly think it's funny that Trent goes out there and whiffs on a fucking golf shot, because that is what 99% of the people are doing when they go out and play. It's just a fact. If you want to see really good golf, you turn on CBS, you turn on ESPN Plus, and you watch the guys who get paid millions of dollars to do it. Why would you want to watch like the in-betweeners, like the guy who almost fucking gets to be a pro? Like, I'd just rather watch Rory McIlroy hit a golf ball, or I'd rather watch the guy that I would have in my foursome on a Sunday and play with me and shoot the 110. That's who foreplay is. There's no. Well, I don't want to be the guy that fucking almost shoots the fucking even score.
It's simple. If you're gonna have X amount of followers, people watching videos, you're going to have haters and people that chirp and bitch and just say shit. The internet sucks, dude. The internet fucking sucks. No matter what. You go onto any article, any video, go look at the comments. They suck. Everyone sucks. Everyone's miserable. So we have enough people watching that people are going to be miserable. If you let it get to you, it drives you insane. I had a guy on the Band and Trails video that got to me. I was just clicked on the little icon on my Instagram comments, and occasionally you're just trying to see, is anybody interesting, new, follow me or whatever. So you click on that. And one of the comments was just like, under the Trails video, I think I shot like 84. And it was like, oh, it's nice to finally see an accurate, unedited version of a full Riggs round where he shoots around in the mid 80s, even though he claims to be this. And I'm like, well, how come that one wasn't doctored? But like, if I shoot 74 playing with Kevin Kisner in a tournament where we had to post a score, that one's now doctored. Like, no, I've posted a video where I shot 102 and you saw every shot. I've posted videos where you shoot 74, post every shot. Like, we are exactly who we claim to be. And I think that if any one of these motherfuckers came out and we actually took them up on the millions of people that ask us to play a match against them, that ask us to pick up our entire lives, fly across the world and play a match against them. If we played 100 matches, at the end, they'd be like, actually, your handicap's exactly what you said it was. You posted the scores exactly how you're supposed to. Nobody's editing anything. Post Daily 9 all the time. Sometimes I miss fucking 9 of them. Sometimes you make 5 of them. It is what it is. Like you're saying, if we were trying to curtail an image of our games, I would just wait until I made all 9. And I would just post that every day. What do you think we're doing here?
In this line of work, you have to be willing to humiliate yourself in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm totally fine with that. Like, I genuinely think some of the best shit comes out of that. So all this small percentage, again, we're all saying it, but 99.9% of the people that watch are totally normal, and they watch it and then they get on with their day. The other people who freak out about, like, oh, they think Frankie's doing this on purpose, or they critique something that Riggs is doing, or they think that I shouldn't be on a show because I whiff on a ball. Like, who fucking cares about those people? Like,
dude, we got one guy.
True.
We've got one guy, and I've showed you him, Trent, and I want to have him on the podcast. I know KFC did this with a troll once, and it was pretty interesting to hear the inside of a troll's brain. We've got this one guy that he's otherworldly, man. Like, no matter how many times you mute him or block him or anything, he's just there, dude. It's like, it's every tweet of mine, of Trent's, of Riggs's, of Foreplays, of KFC's, of White Sox Dave's, it's every second of every day, to the point where I think 30 people have access to his account. I don't know how it's possible. And it's the meanest, grossest shit. Bro, I've typed in his name and my name into the advanced Twitter search on Twitter, and it's not to be believed how many times he's tweeted at me. Thousands.
I guarantee you I just have him muted. Trent taught me the mute button.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
5 years ago, I just mute people instantly.
You definitely do, but if you're as crazy as me, you know it's him, because whenever you put out a tweet, there's always one response right after, and it's invisible. And it's invisible, so you're like, well, now I have to go and look and see what he said, because I want to know what goes through his head. That's why I have him
muted. I don't have to,
but he's muted. All right, he's muted, but you still know his existence is there because he said something so vile that someone responded to him. And when you go to see what the person responded to, it's not there anymore. So, like, that person's muted. So you have to then go search his name to see what he said that had a response from a normal person.
Because usually the response is like, I don't go that far.
Bro, this guy, I'm not saying that he's like winning, but he's definitely been so mean that I need to know who he is. I need to see his face. I need to know what kind of person this is that has dedicated their life morning till night to say negative shit about us. I want to know what his end game is. Does he want me to just not be around anymore? Like what would make him happy if I'm just on the streets? Like I don't know what his end game is, and I want to find out. I'm getting this guy to come on the podcast.
Why do you want to find out? Why do you want to find out?
Because I think it's interesting, dude. It's almost like watching a Netflix documentary. I want to know what goes on in his brain. I'm genuinely curious of like what is this guy's day-to-day life, and like because that's a problem that in our generation that we're gonna have to deal with forever. Like we talked about this on the last podcast. Like our kids and our grandkids are gonna have to watch me on KFC radio talk about how I want someone to spit in my asshole so much that I turn into a water fountain at the mall. Like there's things that they're gonna have to see that like we didn't have to deal with,
But that's not a generational issue. That's like you said that on a podcast.
No, I know, but I'm saying like the internet is just a place that we're gonna have to deal with. That's my point. Is like, and people have grown up on the internet trying to terrorize people. It's a massive problem. It's like bullying and fucking there's suicide problems. Like I want to know what the fuck is wrong with this guy. Like it's not just a Frankie Borelli problem or a foreplay problem or like a Barstool problem. I want to know what the mind of an internet troll. What is he thinking when he logs on every day? What's his end game? I want to know. I'm genuinely curious. Obviously, it's rattled me to the point where like I want to have him on, and I'm okay with saying that. Like, I mean, I think everyone gets rattled by this fucking shit. I want to have this fucking guy on. He's probably gonna be too much of a fucking pussy to come on because he is the #1 hater on the planet. I just want to see what he looks like. I want to see what he fucking looks like.
Mack Weldon. We got to do Mack Weldon real quick. The holiday season is here. With it comes the yearly question of what do I wear to non-ugly sweater parties? How do I maximize my time savoring holiday moments? Minimize my time shopping for gifts. That's true. Fear not, weary holiday wanderer. Nice little copy there. Mack Weldon has all the answers. We're talking top-notch tops, best-selling bottoms, underwear, accessories that will make you, that will please even the Scroogiest guys on your list. Mack Weldon really spicing things up. Your holiday heavy lifting will be complete within minutes. Not going to lie, not a fan of the cold, clearly. That's why I moved out here. Feeling like a walking popsicle just doesn't suit me. But with Mack Weldon's warm knit collection that features shirts, vests, pajama pants, and more, chilly winter days are behind us. Using innovative technology that uses your own body heat to keep you at the perfect temperature. These products from Mack Weldon have me saying something I never thought I would. I'm ready for the cold. Look,
I wear Mack Weldon socks every single day. At a certain point, I had to reset my socks. Like you go a couple of years and stuff starts to get worn out, and you're like, all right, I'm going to reset. Happens a lot with socks and underwear. And recently, I reset my socks with all Mack Weldon, and it's honestly the best decision I've ever made. Their socks they're warm, they're comfortable. They go high, they go really high on my calf, and they don't fall down. I cannot recommend Mack Weldon socks any higher. I love them.
I very much relate to the like cycle of socks because you kind of got to do that at some point. Socks are different because you need many more pair. I feel like pants and all that stuff, you really have a few and you kind of just rock them all the time, and It's a tighter rotation. But you are right. We need you to replenish. We need to get your stuff going. Mack Weldon just makes really, really, really good stuff, top to bottom. You get 20% off your first order. You go to mackweldon.com/4. Enter the promo code 4. That is mackweldon.com/4. Promo code 4 for 20% off. Mack Weldon, get it right this holiday season. Frankie, do you ever subscribe to the theory that it's a slippery slope if you have someone on like this, because then you are encouraging folks to be really mean so that they can get on the show?
Well, it's a slippery slope because yes, I think there's some dumb idiots that would probably fall into that, but I think the majority of people that are probably mean or like use the internet as a place to just like bring other people down to help themselves mentally, I think this would open their eyes to how insane they really are, right? Like it'd be like if you are a listener of the show and you've and you've done that type of shit to us or other people on the like on the internet, and you listen to how crazy this guy's like rational thinking is, like going like whatever he responds with, like why he does this, I think it'd be like an eye-opening experience for people to be like, why the fuck would I do like be this guy? You know what I mean? I think he'd be such a loser that people would be like turned off by ever wanting to comment on Twitter ever again. That's my hope and belief of what would happen. I'm sure other people would fucking take the bait and be like, oh, I'm gonna get on the show. I would say that this is the only time we would ever do that, because he's the number one. He's the GOAT. He's the WOAT.
You also might find, and I don't know, I don't know which way it would go. It would either go your way or it would go. He would come on and just say, I'm just messing around. Like, I'm just, like, he doesn't mean any of it. He's just like, it's easy to hide behind a Twitter account, be super mean. I didn't know I'd ever be called on to the show and have to actually address it. I don't know which one it would be. He might just be a crazy person who would stick to everything and be like, you guys are the worst. This is how I feel, and I want you guys to know every second of every day. Or he would just be like, oh, I'm just messing around. It's a Twitter account. I don't really mean all those things. Because we have found, if you've ever, like, if someone DMs you something mean and you decide to respond, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you do, sometimes they say, oh, just kidding, I'm a huge fan. Like, love
Almost
what you
every
guys
time.
do, love the content.
Almost
every time.
This guy can't be that.
I understand that this guy probably falls into a different category, but there is the chance that happens.
No, you are right. And Frankie, you're 100% correct in that this is almost a global issue with the internet becoming a huge part of our lives. It's like the anonymity of being able to just chirp people, even to the point where if you're just, I feel horrible for like high school girls that like you're so susceptible at that point in your life to judgment from others. It's like the only thing you really care about is like, what do the other people in high school think about me? Now on the internet, they could be so much like more viciously mean to people, because face to face, it's different. You remove like that intimate face-to-face-ness where you're clearly not going to be mean to people. And then now you bring it into like our world where you have a good amount of following. We bust people's balls. People could be very, very ruthless in an anonymous way on the internet. And what happens, like Trent saying, like last week I had some guy said something, again, in the Instagram comments, just really mean. And I just responded like, Merry Christmas, brother, much love. And then he DM'd me immediately and was like, haha, why you got to be so nice? Like, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, no, I'm just like a normal person saying normal things to people. You're the one being a psychopath on the internet saying, like, why would you say or launch really mean things to a stranger unless they 100% deserve it? Unless they are like Jeff Shackelford and they've taken shots at you and you respond, then that's fine. But to just a total stranger, someone just playing golf like that, we're doing something incredibly innocent. We're just playing golf and posting videos of us playing golf. In those videos, we don't take shots at anyone else. We don't do anything at the expense of anyone else. We're just posting videos of us playing golf, trying to get better at golf, trying to experience golf courses and resorts and showcase it. If you're going to say something extremely mean to that and respond to that in a really negative way, you are right, Frankie, in that it has to be a really interesting deep dive into why the fuck are you doing that, sir or miss? Yeah. Like, why are you doing that?
It's a scary brain, right? And this specific guy goes crazy with like the restaurant and my dad. And like, it's just like, how deep do you want this thing to go, man? Like, I just always wanted to know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you don't give him the time of the day, because I've never given him the time of the day. You never respond to anything. Maybe we ask him to come on and we don't put it on the podcast, and just for our
That's what
sanity,
I was gonna say. You should just have a Zoom with him and just like talk to him and then come back and give us the notes on it.
It's I don't know. It's just fucking crazy, man. Because it's never gonna stop anything, right? Like, because KFC had that guy on, and KFC's like, "Why do you do that?" And he's like, and his response was, "I just like to fuck around on the internet."
That's what I mean.
And he's like, we like to get reactions out of people. Like me and my buddies from high school, like we created all these like old white guy accounts and we tried to trigger people. I think he started like trying to trigger like CNN's main account, and then like got a high off that when they got responses from people, and then thought that like he'd move on to the Barstool guys and like got a high off that when he got responses from people. It's sad that has become a high. Like, that's my point, is that...
Yeah, you're like, that guy trying to make other people's lives worse is a high for him.
Which, like, I don't know what would be even comparable to that in like the 1930s, like going and fucking killing somebody? I don't know what, like, that's a new high that we've made for people, these like psychopaths of like, they can be super anonymously mean, and they're like, they have this thing that gets released in their brain. The same feeling of excitement and happiness gets released by that medium, like going through the internet. It's a scary thing that we've created.
Well, that's how comment sections took off, where when they instituted the upvote, where you just basically, it turns into whoever says the meanest, craziest, most vicious thing, even if it's not true, and it's likely not, gets the most votes, and that's how it starts a circuit of like, all right, I don't want to say like, hey, this thing was really nice, and this was good job on this, because that gets 2 likes. You say something horrific, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe that person said that, and people just upvote it, and that gets the most, and then that starts a trend of like, oh, that's how you do it, and that's what we're going to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'll drop it, but it's just, it's always just interested me. I don't know. I guess the older I've gotten and quote unquote, the more mature I've tried to become in like my real life, I can't imagine, because I was a fucking idiot, I guess, in high school and in my early 20s. We're all fucking stupid. And like now I'm just like, I can't imagine, because the kid's probably fucking 18 years old. And I just like, I can't imagine doing that. But I guess like when you're young or stupid, you just don't think about other people's lives and feelings and like what they're doing. And it's crazy, man. It's a crazy world out there.
People on the internet too are just dumb. Like they don't pick up on humor particularly well, like just obvious humor, and how the internet, like what the internet in a positive way functions for, which is largely just to like laugh and get a quick entertainment and maybe some information out of stuff occasionally. That's what the internet's really for. And like that video recently that's gone like reviral of the girl having the Zoom call with her like boyfriend's playing Call of Duty in the background, and it's like he's like 1 in 5 pussy, 1 in 5 like the whole time. And she posted where she's like trying to do this Zoom thing or whatever, and the guy's just screaming in the background, and she's doing the face of like I can't do it. And I like the biggest comments are like, why wouldn't this idiot just hit mute? And I'm like, no, it's just a funny like concept video. It's a 15-second funny video kind of encompassing the times and Call of Duty and Zoom meetings. And who cares about the context? Who cares if it's real? Maybe it's staged. Got a chuckle out of me. You move on to the next video and you live your life. And man, people are just going. And then they're fighting with each other on that comment about how easy. And one person's like, well, it's not a Zoom. It's actually she's recording for a class. And it's and I'm like, what world are you guys living in now? Or you're arguing, what are you doing? It's psychotic to me, this behavior, what people get tangled up in. It's psychotic.
It's scary.
The internet's something. It really is.
You take from it, and then you also just like go crazy on it, right? Like we live on the internet. That's how we make. Right. That's how we. You know,
our brains are so warped. Like we just, these jobs that we had. Like speaking of the 1930s. And the internet now, like these jobs that we have most certainly did not exist. No. Like these are just new. Like I was thinking about it the other day. My 8-year anniversary at Barstool's coming up, and I was thinking about it. Like I've just checked Twitter every second of every day for 8 years straight, and I'm happy to do that. Like I love it. I love this job, and I'm more than happy to have the opportunity. But like it's just a job that didn't exist before. So it's like they're going to study our brains and be like, what were these bloggers? What are these bloggers' brains like after 10 years of doing it? And
there's this movement. There's a lot of people pushing for stay off social media, right? It's unhealthy for you. So try to limit your time on social media after 8 p.m. Put your phone down and don't check it again until the morning. Like our job is the internet. We have to be on the internet. So I would say like I'm very grateful that we've sort of because we do the podcast now, we do more videos now, and like we focus more on like merchandise and the live events, the Barstool Classic tournaments. That like we don't have to be as heavy into it as we used to be in terms of just checking Twitter, because Barstool's founded in terms of, especially on the content and the blogger side of like the common, like for the common man, by the common man, by the common woman, for the common woman. Like, and part of that is you mix it up with people. Like you're on Twitter is more popular for us, or at least we've been more of a Twitter company the whole time, because like we're not about posting like really good photos looking good on Instagram. We're about like what we say and how we react to stuff and our comments. And if someone, responds to one of our tweets, we'll sit there and tweet back and forth with them because we're just like you. And that's what Barstool again is founded on. And that's why I love Barstool. That's why we all work at Barstool and got there. But when there's these two things going against each other, which is like stay off social media, stop interacting with like people that are going to bring negativity to your brain, and that's sort of the ethos of what we do, it could drive you fucking nuts sometimes. And I would say again that like luckily like kind of doing the podcast and that being our forum to like say what we want to say and debate and talk about shit the way we want to talk about it is, I think, like way healthier than grinding it out in the comments or the tweet replies or whatever with people. But it's always gonna be a part of what we do, and it's always gonna drive you crazy. And yeah, I don't know why people's brains go that way and why the fuck somebody would get a high out of like tearing a stranger down on the internet. It's very bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. And it's not just like one-time thing where like you make a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Like this is premeditated every day, every second, every night, nonstop, punch after punch. Give it up, dude. So, no, yeah, it's fucking crazy. But, no, yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, I love this. I fucking love this job, obviously. Like it's brought me places where Borelli's was never going to be able to bring me. It's just like I never thought in a million years that me working at Borelli's 6 years later, I'd be on a podcast talking about golf, traveling the world, and doing all this stuff. And it's amazing how many normal, awesome people that listen to us and watch our stuff, like allow us to do that, right? There's like one or two bad eggs out there that try and tear you down. But at the end of the day, you can just handle that because what you're saying, Trent, before, they're all just normal. The majority of the people are just normal.
The vast majority.
The vast majority. It's the vocal minority that gets in your head. And if that's the worst thing that happens to me in my life, then so be it. If this fucking loser is the worst part of my day and I can just ignore him, then that's a fucking great day. I feel like I'm talking to a therapist.
The mute button, baby. Utilize it and live by it. And just do it and forget about it. And then just keep it moving.
Do you mute people, Frankie?
I mute a couple people, but I sometimes just like respond to them and just like
right there. Frankie you have that part of you that like wants to battle, and that's like a funny.
It's not even battle. I definitely love to battle. I'm genuinely curious. It's like, all right, this is like, I don't stay up at night wondering why the person's being mean to me. I stay up at night wondering like why they do what they do. Like I'm not like, I don't care about the words he's saying. I care about why that person's choosing to do that. Like I almost want to like go in and fix their brain. That's that's the way I think. And dude, I've been like that my whole life with stuff. Like I've always gotten in debates and arguments and stuff, and they're like, "Why do you fucking care?" It's like, well, no, I don't care about what you said. I care about why you said it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I try and figure out what's going on in his brain as to why he's saying that. I don't give a fuck if he says he hopes Borelli's burns down. Sure, it makes me like giggle at how insane he is. Why does he care about me? That's the thing.
I get it. And again, everybody handles it differently. And we've all been to the point where we're just like, fuck these people. And it gets to you and you react to it. I mean, Trent does it every night with The Bachelor. He goes, oh, sports, oh, whatever. He's like,
Someone said last night, like, Trent, you watched The Bachelor and you wrote what, 8 years?
8 years. I've been doing this for 8 years.
So I just looked it up. I have 373 accounts muted.
Oh, Trent, I mean.
No, I won't. I can't.
Trent's going to be way.
No. I actually can't. Frankie and I had this conversation. I think we were at the Ryder Cup, and I told him my number, and I actually thought he was never going to talk to me again. Because it's like.
Well, no, you actually never told me the number. I was saying numbers, and you were saying, bro. I
can't do this.
I was like 10,000. You're like, dude, like, let's just stop. Like, to the point where I thought maybe it's 100,000. I don't know what the number is.
I don't know what the exact number is right now, but it's high, and I just because I do it very liberally, I'm just like, all right, that's it. Like I don't need to be seeing all those things all the time.
Yeah, the mute is a beautiful button.
It's great.
They don't know
because they don't know. And so what I would say to a lot of people out there, like if you say mean shit to me, especially now to like Trent, there's a really, really high chance we never saw it. We have no clue that you're out there tweeting those things. Just can't see it. You're muted.
And what I would
you
say
don't
is,
appear
like,
on my life. I don't see you.
Like, and what I would say, and we can stop talking about this soon.
Yes.
But like, I think there was a certain point, certainly early on when I was new to this job, I thought those things mattered. Like when they would say like, this guy should be fired, he should be out of here, like he has no value with this company. Like I thought it like was real. And then when I started muting people, and now like this podcast is doing well, like our videos do well, like my Twitter account grows, like it's not actually affecting what's happening. And that's the distortion that I didn't. That's the distortion that I didn't understand at first. Like I thought when they were saying that, I thought it was true, and I was like, oh well, I fucking suck at this. Like I shouldn't be doing this. But then when you stop hearing those voices and just be yourself, it ends up working. Like it really does.
Yeah.
And you don't have to listen to that shit.
Right.
Also,
you
like the comments on
right?
yeah,
That's true.
It's always blown my mind that like the people that write all that stuff like on the website, like they think like you've been working for Dave Portnoy for 8 years and never once has he listened to any commenter that said that you shouldn't work there. Never once. You work there and you've actually like moved up the ranks.
Right.
Incredibly.
Right. Big time.
It's not so much anymore, but when I was the 12th employee, when I got hired, there were like 8 bloggers, and it would be a cycle, like fire this guy, and then when obviously Dave wouldn't listen, Dave doesn't listen to those things, they'd move to the next person and the next person. I've been through that fire this guy cycle so many times that I've forgotten the number. Honestly.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's just like we have such a past with that now that like I feel like I've lived 20 lives on the internet and we're still just here.
Right.
It's so strange.
Fuck.
Yeah, Dave doesn't listen to any of that stuff.
No, and right. For his whole career, he has never listened to that stuff. So why would he just begin? Like, why would he just start listening now? You know what he looks at? Numbers. That's it. He looks at numbers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just a good look into the internet side of things. 99% of people listening to this don't have to deal with this stuff, and that's our choice. We have to deal with this stuff, and we love dealing with this stuff, but there's just some times where it gets interesting for me where I like to take a deep dive. So
Yeah, I think people were into it too because I've gotten quite a bit in person, Barstool Classroom. They say like, "How do you deal with this?"
Yeah.
Or people that say that, and this is sort of a dive into that. And what's amazing is you realize how, even though you think in your own mind a lot of times you're not handling it well, how good we actually are at handling it, because you see when any one of these people that says all this negative shit, whenever someone responds to their comment about it, they go nuclear. They go to war trying to like defend themselves. They can't believe that somebody said something negative about what they said. And it's like, dude, do you not see what's happening here? Like, are you fucking crazy? Do you not have a brain? Like you do this to other people all day long. One person did it to you one time and it like ruined their whole night. They fired off 37 reply tweets. It's like, you can't just move on. And then if you reply, they'll be like, oh, you're so soft. I'm like, dude, what? So yeah, people are just losers on the internet, and that's pretty much what it is.
I think I'm going to send this guy an email. I'm going to ask this guy to come on the Zoom, and we're going to do it after the show so he doesn't get any limelight.
I like
and I just want to talk to him. I want to talk to a guy. I won't. I don't. It'll be like my own little. It'll be my own little Netflix documentary.
I like it. I think you should. Nomad Goods. Let's talk about Nomad Goods. All right, these guys have Trent always whips this puppy out. What you think?
Nomad stuff right here.
Nomad started as a Kickstarter project 2012. They're tired of dealing with flimsy charging cables, seem to fall apart every few months. They set out to engineer some of the most rugged and badass cables around. They're a company that prioritizes design and quality over everything else. I've got their this really cool leather brown case for my AirPods, which is they're down in my golf bag, but those are extremely cool. Frankie right now is showcasing one of their rugged, cool cables. Is that what you're showcasing?
Awesome.
It's like
I'm opening it up right now.
It's got. I have it out. I can't reach it right now, but it has all of the sort of charging plugins that you need for pretty much every model of every phone, and it's really a nice cable that anybody can use.
Dude, this is a USB-C to a lightning cable. It is made out of the same stuff that the guy who climbed that mountain in The Alpinist fucking used. I mean, it's a rope. It is an absolute rope.
Nomad uses leather from the Horween Tannery in Chicago. Smells amazing. It's climate neutral certified brand. So they just get it. This is a really good company doing good things, making great products. Check out Nomad at nomadgoods.com/4 to see what living the nomad life is all about. We know it's the holiday season, giving. You're looking creative, different, cool. Nomad Goods, all right? NOMADGOODS.com/4. Go check them out. They got a ton of cool options. Everybody needs cables, charges, phone cases for your collectibles or your important goods, items that you rock around with, wallets, key fobs, whatever. Nomad Goods has got them. So nomadgoods.com/4. Go check them out. Okay, PNC this weekend, Tiger Woods, Charlie Woods. I was thinking this morning a little bit about like what really are we expecting from Tiger Woods? In fact, like what is going to kind of make or break, I guess, this experience this weekend? Because I think more than likely Tiger Woods is going to come out. He's going to be about what everybody expected. He's going to hit good shots. It's a scramble with his kid where he's going to hit shots further off the tee than Tiger is, just like he did last time. So I was trying to think, like, what's really going to stand out or what could stand out from Tiger over these 2 days this weekend. And the biggest thing I was thinking about was the distance that his driver goes, because I think you could base pretty much everything off of that. If Tiger shows up and his swing speed is 105 and he's hitting it 255 off the tee, I think that's going to be, okay, he really is a ways away from being able to come back. Now, if he comes out and it's like his driver's not full speed, he's not swinging at 120 or 118 miles an hour club head speed, but he's swinging 115, 113. He's hitting it 280, 275, 290, carry off the tee, and it's rolling out some or rolling out to 300, 310. Then I think it's going to be, this guy's just pretty much there. Like if he gets 4 more months, aka the Masters tournament, and he's already come this far in the last month or two of hitting balls, right? Because it's not like he's been hitting balls for 9 months. The accident was 9-10 months ago. He's probably only been hitting balls for 3 or 4 weeks max, maybe a month and a half, 5 weeks max. That if he's already gotten this far, whatever. So I think that for me, like that first swing with the driver, where it looks like if everything looks good, like he swung that the way he was trying to swing there. He hit that one kind of the way he was trying to hit it. How far did it go? Does it go 240? Does it go 310? How far does it go?
Well, at one point in the interview, he said that he did an interview, I think with Daniel Rappaport. And he was saying that Charlie is swinging faster than him, which to me is like, how far?
See, I couldn't tell if that was like, he's going to be like, yeah, I couldn't tell with that because the way he was swinging with his driver in the red shirt, it didn't look like he was swinging fucking 90 miles an hour. It looked like he was swinging that thing pretty fast.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out on when this PNC starts because I thought, I couldn't get a read on it either. He's such a hard guy to read when he makes jokes like that. Like, is he being serious or is he just completely joking? Because like that's a good joke to make. That's actually a funny joke, but I didn't know if he actually meant it. So yeah, I agree with you, Riggs, that the driver will be very interesting. All I'm looking for, I mean, the stakes seem super low for this tournament. Like, as long as he's healthy, as long as he's out there, having a good time, hits a few good iron shots, hits a few good chips, nails a couple putts, has some good moments with Charlie. Like, again, the stakes seem pretty low, and just seeing him out there is going to be great. Yeah, the main thing to watch would be his driver. And if it's, depending on where that is, then we'll know more where his game is. But other than that, it should be a pretty relaxed weekend in terms of Tiger Woods playing a golf tournament.
So when do we see, what's the schedule for the PNC? When do we see Tiger Woods tee up the first ball since the accident?
I want to say somewhere around, 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll look that up right now. Do they released the tee times? I don't think they have.
So Friday's nothing either, right? It's just Saturday, Sunday he's playing?
Friday's a Pro-Am, but I don't know that we'll get much insight from the Pro-Am.
You think he's playing in the Pro-Am?
He is playing in the Pro-Am Friday. He's not
Holy
playing in the
smokes.
Pro-Am Thursday. There's a Pro-Am on Thursday. So some guys are playing both, not everybody. Tiger's playing just the Friday Pro-Am. It says Friday Pro-Am special on Golf Channel, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So we might get a little, sprinkle in some Tiger Woods footage from there. Saturday, the first round is 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. on Peacock, 1:30 to 2:30 on Golf Channel, 2:30 to 6 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock Premium. So it sounds like, starting around, 1 p.m. or so on Saturday, we'll start to get some real footage of Tiger Woods, and we'll start to understand a bit more about our future here, fellas.
Amazing. Imagine being the amateur that's linked up with Tiger Woods and Charlie. Is Charlie going to play in it too?
No, I don't think Charlie plays in the
Okay,
program.
so imagine being just like some ho-hum dude that just like got linked up with. I mean, I don't know how that all works. I don't know if you have to like pay more to
I think
be a
you
Tiger.
pay a lot of money,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
yeah, and you get like the first. Every Pro-Am I think is different, but I believe that the format is like the higher paying or the bigger spots or whatever get like first pick. Usually there's like a Pro-Am party on Wednesday night or Tuesday night, depending on what the Pro-Am is. There's like a party, and you see who you get matched up with, and it's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, now we just sit and wait and see what he looks like. It's such a strange time, but it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is. He, I would say anything better than him, anything other than Tiger Woods limping off of the golf course in an injury that he can't play is a success. I think that's a no-brainer. Obviously, like if he at some points looks like he's kind of, moving a lot differently or a lot slower than he was 10 minutes before over to his cart, those are going to get a lot of viral attention. But I think if he comes out, he moves pretty consistently throughout the 2 days. He's smiling, he's swinging pretty freely. I think that's obviously all going to be seen as an enormous success.
I think
Big
he's going to
time.
throw some darts too, and those videos are going to go viral.
He's one of the
Like,
best, maybe the best iron player in history. So yeah, I
Right.
think he's going to throw some too.
And he's been saying, like, he off the tee, he's like, he doesn't know where he's at quite yet. But this dude, he'll be 99 years old and still know how to hit an iron shot. Like, I have no worries about that part of his game.
I mean, Jack Nicklaus still gets holes in one at the par 3
Right.
contest at the Masters. Like, you telling me Tiger Woods, he'll be able to throw some darts, I think, for sure.
And Jack actually like puts a little hip action into the ball still, like on the first tee shots. Like he can get it out there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just very excited. When Trent said seeing the smiles, that got me kind of giddy. There's going to be a ton of smiles out there. Are you guys more excited to see? Is there any part of you that's more excited to see Charlie Woods and how much he's like grown and gotten better at golf than seeing just Tiger hit like regular shots? Because like we know Tiger's not going to be doing recoils and hitting Masters style Tiger Woods golf balls. It's not going to happen. It's his first time swinging out there. He's going to be very just methodical and trying to figure out how to just get the ball in the air. And Charlie's going to be out there for blood.
Well, look, 12-year-old Pete last year when we did the match, I played a match against him. Frankie played a match against him. He was a child. He was a little kid. He was a child. Okay.
He still hit bombs.
He still hit it good, obviously, but he was a child. He was like a cute little kid out there telling you about where he goes fishing with his brother and all this stuff. I saw a 12-year-old Pete this year, 13 now. He's got like a girlfriend, and he's just like an adult.
He's a man.
So it's completely
He's doing his
different
tax
person.
returns. He's like,
and it's amazing. And that was 1 year, okay, or maybe fucking 16 months or something. And they, you can go through a growth spurt, whatever, and turn into a completely different person year over year over year. At that age, you're a completely different person. So yeah, part of me is excited to be like, is Charlie gonna have like a beard and he shows up and he's just hitting the back? I don't know what to expect. So yeah, it's not more interesting to me than what we see from Tiger, but it's really cool, and I get really excited thinking now that we get both of those things at the same time. We're gonna get to witness both of them.
same thing happened with like LeBron's kids when they were growing up. there were always like these cute little kids that were like shooting basketballs, and he was like running around with them. And then one year, like Bronny Jr. was dunking, and everyone was like, hold on now. This guy is going to be the number 1 draft pick in the NBA soon, and he's literally flying through the air. So it is funny when these prodigy kids like just show up on the scene. And
this
get to
really
watch
is a
them.
telltale sign of getting older, when the greats that you watched, their kids start getting to an age where now they're trying and they're excelling, and they're like, that makes me feel really, really old. Like, yeah, seeing Bronny be amazing on a basketball court makes me feel like I'm 150 years old.
Yeah.
Because I remember when LeBron was in high school. I remember when he first was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I remember watching St. Vincent St. Mary games that ESPN would broadcast. Like, I remember all that shit. And now we've just moved into a different era where LeBron is, what is he, like? He's in his
36.
mid-30s now. Yeah, he's in his mid-30s, and his kids are now starting to play basketball. Like, it's just, man, I feel old.
Yeah, no, I think it's normal to be excited about that stuff. What's not normal is the guy that I saw on Twitter yesterday who was arguing with people, some blue checkmark Jeff Shackelford type piece of shit, was like arguing with people that Charlie Woods isn't even in the top 100 of Floridian teenage golfers, and if you look at his like age class, he's ranked 72nd, and against his best average round is 83. And if you look at like the top ranked kids in the country, they're already averaging 72.
Yuck.
That's the part
those
that
guys
like,
are losers. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy whatever happens. Don't break it down. Those are the same guys who will, like college football guys, who will tweet at high schoolers being like, "Come to our college, come play here." It's like, how about you just don't interfere at all and just enjoy whatever happens.
That guy sucked.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was just like, dude, don't waste your time on that. Like, just
Scrolled right
let's
past it.
watch.
I was like, this is the last thing in the world I want to read about right now.
Are we ranking 12-year-olds and 13-year-old golfers
not.
at this point? Like that is a psychotic thing to do. Let the kid play, and he's lighting the world on fire. What other, out of the top 100 12-year-olds in Florida, what other 12 and 13-year-olds are literally playing in the PNC fucking tournament with his dad, Tiger Woods, and is flying 3-woods at the fucking pin? Zero. There's one. His name's Charlie. So I don't want to hear any fucking ranking system and why he shouldn't be glorified and all this stuff and how the other kids need their time to shine. The other kids can literally suck a teat. Charlie Woods is the fucking ticket getter.
We said this from the jump. If Charlie Woods likes golf and wants to pursue that, great. If he doesn't, great. Well, he can do whatever he wants. And if he's going to be on TV with Tiger Woods, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but I'm not going to break it down and be like, "Oh, he's not the number one golfer in his age class at his, in his area." Like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I just want to, if he likes it and enjoys it and Tiger has fun with it, and he clearly does, and that's why he's playing in this PNC with Charlie, that's great. And that's as deep as I go.
And you know why I know that Charlie Woods has it? It's because Tiger Woods is showing the world Charlie Woods. Tiger Woods is the most calculated, thoughtful in his processing. He knows everything. He's like a computer. He would never, ever expose his son if he thought his son sucked at golf. He knows that he has a special talent. He knows he's going to be an incredible golfer. I mean, every video he does with him, he's talking about like how, did you watch the one where they showed Tiger all like the similar mannerisms and Tiger just couldn't get enough of it? He's laughing. He's like, it's the way we pick up. It's one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. And Tiger would be like, "Hey guys, like I don't really want to like put that out." Like Tiger Woods knows everything that's filmed about him and gets put out. He would not be a part of this storyline if he thought that it was going to be detrimental to Charlie Woods' life. He knows it's going to be beneficial, and he knows that we are here for the long run with this kid. So all these stats and all this bullshit that these guys are trying to tear him down for, fuck off. Tiger Woods knows what's best for his son, and we're just going to follow along and enjoy it.
And look, there's going to be a ton of excitement about Charlie's going to hit shots that we're going to go crazy for on the internet this weekend. And there's going to, innately, there's going to be people that respond being like, "He's 12, leave him alone." Let me explain something to all those people before we get into that, which is that when you are dealing with kids, which Tiger is, Charlie's a kid, Tiger's dealing with his kids, you want to just do whatever they pretty much want to do all the time. When they want to go to the toy store, they want to go swimming, or they want to go to the fucking go-kart place, or they want to watch like their cartoon on YouTube. you pretty much live and exist to just allow them to do whatever they want to do so that they're happy. It's positive developmental phases through them. Charlie clearly wants to play in this tournament more than anything. Charlie clearly wants to be out there with his dad. He wants to be on TV. How cool would it be to be on TV playing the game that you love to play at age 12, doing it with your father, knowing that people are watching you? How cool would that be when you're 12, 13, when you're in high school, whatever, and you find out that there's fans coming to your game, and that you're going to have a packed, stadium or rink or whatever because it's against a rival school? You are the most excited human being in the world, especially at that age, that people are going to watch you do the thing that you love to do. How pumped must Charlie be that he's going to be on TV hitting golf shots with his dad? And obviously, he therefore is going to be pumped that we're all going to be excited for him as well. Everyone's happy and it's positive. There will be people that are going to be negative about it going into this weekend. I want all those people to know that they're losers, that you are against what Charlie's going to be pumped about, what Tiger's going to be pumped about, what we're all going to be pumped about. And I'm just genuinely excited to watch that, to watch a father and a son have a great time together. And it's not just the Woods family. It's like JT and his dad out there. Cooch and Cooch's kid were awesome last year. You get a ton of that, and it's just going to be a very wholesome thing going into the holidays. It's going to be an awesome weekend. It's just going to be an awesome weekend.
Are we getting
Joey LaCava on the bag?
Yeah, we got Joey and his son again.
Joey and his son on the bag.
Joe
Dude,
Jr.
his son, Joe Jr. came to Pup Punk last week or 2 weeks ago and couldn't have been a nicer kid. I mean, we've hung out with him a couple times at tournaments where Joey's like, hey, like my son's looking out for you guys. We'd get text messages from Joey LaCava as he's with Tiger Woods being like,
we checked his ID once. We checked his son's ID once.
That was my first experience with Joe Jr. Someone screamed out to me at Bethpage. It was Shinnecock, right? Was it Shinnecock or Bethpage?
I think it was Bethpage.
Bethpage, yes, it was Bethpage. I think it was like the 14th hole before we crossed over on the other side of the fucking road. And someone said, "Yeah, we got Joe LaCava's son here." And I was like, "Yeah," and I got the Queen of England on the green. And he's like, "No, really, I'm Joe LaCava's son. Like, let me talk to you." I was like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Look," and he like showed me his ID. I was like, "Holy fuck, yeah, you're Junior." I don't know why like someone would make that up, but he's the coolest guy of all time. Really good group of friends too. Like you could just tell that they were just like really like into sports and music. And like I talked to him for an hour before the show and after the show, and just a great family, the LaCavas. Trent Daddy met his daughters at the Chicks in the Office live show.
Yeah, they came to Caroline's in New York for the Chicks in the Office live show. Met them after the show. Could not have been nicer people. It was great. Just
the most perfectly raised children, just so polite and thankful and just into everything like that we were doing. It was so much fun, and the fact that he's gonna be there, he's gonna be on Charlie's bag. It's amazing. So yeah, it's
a feel-good event. It's a
really
feel-good event, and if you have any sort of negativity trying to knock down any aspect of it, grow up, dude.
Grow up. Kick rocks. Joe LaCava is one of the greatest people on this planet. I've never met a nicer guy on the planet. I cannot be more happy for that guy. I cannot be more happy for his son. I can't be more happy for Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods. What a fucking time to be alive. This guy
It's gonna be a great weekend.
He was going through the craziest shit ever 8 months ago. And now he's just laying in the grass, enjoying fucking golf. God.
Beautiful.
Trifecta Nutrition. So Tiger's obviously come back. He's come back healthy. He's going to, he's done that his whole life. He's looked good. He's been fit. He's been one of the great athletes in the history of the world. Trifecta Nutrition can help you do that. You don't have to suffer to eat healthy, all right? Trifecta's got convenience. You save time rather than having to spend hours meal prepping every single week. They got science-backed nutrition. All Trifecta's meals follow scientific nutritional principles. They got fresh food, farm to fork supply chain. They're never frozen. It's organic produce. And the fully cooked food, so you don't waste time cooking, cleaning, going through dishes, all that stuff. No, you don't have to waste that time cooking or cleaning just to eat and get healthy. You can shop meal plans and get 40% off with the code FORE when you go to trifectanutrition.com. We're all trying to be a little healthier. We're all trying to be fit. We're all trying to save time in our busy lives. We don't want to be, again, grinding out dishes, cleaning. You got to looking up recipes. You got to go to the grocery store, try to buy everything. You forget stuff. So then your recipe stinks. Your food's not as good. You end up eating like crap and it's not healthy. Don't have to worry about any of that. You go to trifectanutrition.com. Use the code FORE. You can shop meal plans and get 40% off at Trifecta Nutrition with the code Fore. All right, boys, we're going to finally get to a little from the gallery, which we haven't done in a while. Foreplay at barstoolsports.com. Put from the gallery in the headline, and then we'll read it. And if it's good, we'll discuss it at some point on the show. Joe, okay, we're going to go to Joe. Shout out to the Joe LaCavas and Joe Juniors of the world. Not that this is from them, but they have the same name. What is the ideal par 3 yardage? I believe shorter is better and more fun. Hog Point, New Jersey has an uphill 265-yard par 3. Come on, he says, exclamation point. I think everybody prefers short par 3s. I think everybody in the world prefers short par 3s. Every tour pro you hear, they talk, all 4 par 3s at this course are over 200 yards, 230 yards, some of them. How good of a feeling is it? And this question got me thinking about how awesome of a feeling, how excited do you get when you roll up to AT on a par 3 and you look out there and it's like 142 yards. It's awesome.
I'm trying to think of my ideal number.
I know mine. My ideal number is 155. That's what I like to hit. I feel confident in that yardage for me.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think mine's just a flat one. I think not even flat. I think if someone tells me it's 152, I know I'm hitting that green. I'm going to take a 9-iron. I'm going to be able to swing fully. I'm not going to be thinking about slowing down my swing. Maybe there's a little bit of wind in my face. It's going to hold that thing back. I'm taking 152 all day. If I'm at the back of my cart and I go, yo, what's the yardage? And they say 152, I'm like, might as well just bring my putter up to the green right now. That's how confident I feel in that number. And then my second favorite number might be in the 170s range, maybe 168, 170, because I like to hit that 7-iron. Like a 170 to 175, if I can just take a smooth, like I'm at a driving range, if I can take a smooth 7-iron, I know that's a lot harder to hit the green, but something about me being able to tack it, when you start getting too short for me, it becomes a problem. Like 110-yard shot, downwind, or whatever 7 is at Pebble Beach, where it's this little check down fucking 58 degree. It's like a nightmare. I can't do that. So I'd rather.
What's the yardage of the 5th hole at Rockville? 110?
Yeah. Nightmare. Absolute
Water
nightmare.
in the
downwind. Like you're hitting this like little 3/4 56 degree thing because it's like downwind, a little downhill, false front.
You want like a full short iron or mid iron. You want like a full.
You can't be fucking around with little fucking swings.
Yeah, I would say like the 12th hole at Augusta is Golden Bell is like 150 to 155 yards usually they play it. That hole might be the perfect par 3 where like it's a little too hard for us probably. We've debated this over and over again, but like you step up there with
TPC.
8 or a 9-iron and you just swing full. That's a nice feeling because that's a golf shot. That's a real swing. When you got to stand up to a hole and it's 210 yards or something for us, and you're looking at like a full 4-iron or something, buddy. 4-irons are for the birds. I'm not hitting a 4-iron onto the green. You're just trying to get it airborne. You're trying to hope it stays in play. You're trying to hope you get to hit it again without having to drop or search for it or whatever. A full 9-iron, 8-iron, 7-iron. That's golf, baby. That's what you like on the range, right? You can get into a groove with that. On the range, you're standing there and you're trying to really work on something. You're trying to really feel good and confident about yourself. And you whip out a 8-iron and you just rip like 10 good 8-irons where you swing full. It's got a nice trajectory to it. It's pretty doable. It's not impossible. So then you get to step up again to like 155 yard. I think you're right about 155 yard par 3. And it's about an 8-iron. How nice is that? How nice is that?
I mean, if you have a 200-yard par 3, like you're taking me out of the sport. Like I'm just not involved anymore. Like at that point, I'm gonna swing my 4-iron like you're saying, but like 1 in 300 of those are gonna hit the green for me.
Okay, yes, but then there also is no better feeling than hitting a green on a 200+ yard green, par 3.
True. What's the yardage of the 9th hole at Rockville?
9th hole at Rockville Links sometimes plays 210, 215, sometimes even like into the wind. And when you just nut either a hybrid or a 4-iron at that thing, oh my God.
I hit the best 4-iron of my life on that hole, and I hit the green. It might have been during a breaking 100 round or just one of the times when you and I went out there and played. I pured a 4-iron, and it landed on the green, and I've never felt better about my life.
Look, Give me one of those. Fine. You get 4 par threes on a golf course. Give me one of those. Fine. Give me a 205 shot. You do got to step up. You want to test the game a little bit. Fine. Give me one of those. Then give me one that's in the 175 range, Frankie, where it's like a 7 iron. If it's into the wind, maybe you hit a 6. If it's downwind, maybe you hit an 8. And then I want, a 1 or 2 in the 155 range. I like that shot. Think that's fun. Maybe make the green a little smaller, right? A little trickier around the green. So if you miss it, you're kind of fucked. You get that. That's what you deserve for missing with a short iron. Make it a little more interesting than just a pretty big green, a couple bunkers, and a 210-yard shot. You give me 3 or 4 of those on a golf course, I'm like, dude, we finally don't have to hit driver. We finally don't have to hit the ball 300 yards. I want to be able to get precise, baby. I want to go flag hunting, pin seeking here on this par 3. I want to be punished if I miss it, but I want to have that opportunity. 4 iron, again, if I get it within 10 yards of the green with like a 4 iron, I'm looking for a fucking parade for myself. So give me a chance with a short iron.
I think any par 3 over 200 yards, I think they're all incredibly wrongly handicapped. Like whenever you show up, a 210-yard par 3 should be the number 1 handicap on the golf course. You can't make one mistake on that hole. If you duff it off the tee or if you cold shank it, you're done. You're double bogey, triple bogey, no problem. I'll never understand how the handicap system works on golf courses when it comes to that stuff. Like you'll show up to a 210-yard par 3. It's like the 16th handicap. You're like, what's going on? This is the hardest shot I've had all day long.
And then there'll be a 505-yard par 5 that's ranked like the number 2 handicap. You're like, no, I could play this hole horribly and I'm still going to have a wedge into this hole.
So handicaps on the golf course work where it's like they take how the best player would play it compared to the like worst. Is that how that works? Like they're basically saying that like the best player would also make something similar to the worst player on that hole. So that's why it's not handicapped high.
They're basically saying, no, they're saying like they're essentially ranking the holes in difficulty is basically what they're doing. And I think it's a combination of like I think it's mostly like bogey golfer to like scratch golfer.
Yeah.
They sort of do they do the rating. They go out and they base it off of, I think scores. They base it off of like things that typically add to higher scores like water and distance and things like that. And ultimately come up with like rating them 1 through 18. It'd be a really interesting thing if we actually dig deep into like what fully goes into that, because I've heard a million different theories. I think it's probably somewhere in between right there. But I don't know. I've always took it as like they rank them like in difficulty.
Which I always thought too, but someone also told me once that like the reason why those long par 3s are ranked like in the 14 to 18 range are because scratch golfers have a difficult time on those holes as well. Which it wouldn't, so like you're not giving, because obviously like the handicap system is supposed to give strokes to worse players. So like because they're both struggling on that hole, it's not going to be like a 1, 2, or 3 because then it would be too much of an advantage for the worst player. It could be completely wrong, but I was told that once when I was literally complaining about it, saying like, why the fuck am I not getting a stroke here? We're all hitting 3 woods into the thing. So
I've just pulled this up right now. This is from the SCGA, which is probably the South Carolina Golf Association.
Sure.
We're going to give it that. It's kind of what it feels like. And it says, misconception number 2. The hardest hole on the course should be given the number 1 stroke allocation. And then it goes on to says, the USGA handicap system is designed to enable golfers of differing abilities to compete on an equitable basis. Because of this, stroke allocation should be looked at in terms of 2 golfers competing in a net match play event. The number 1 handicap stroke hole should be assigned to the hole where the bogey golfer needs the additional stroke in order to have the hole with the scratch golfer.
Whoa, I think I'm
Ultimately, at the end of 18 holes, the match should be all square. Par is irrelevant in this exercise as it's not an effective indicator of a need for a stroke. But I would say they still fuck up all the time on golf courses based upon that because, like you're saying, Frankie, a scratch golfer on a 210-yard par 3, I think that 18 handicap golfer is going to need a stroke more there than on a par 5.
Yeah, well, the bogey golfer will always need the advantage over the scratch golfer. That's the part where it loses me, but I do somewhat get the fact that because the hole is so difficult, it almost equalizes. Like you're both more, yeah. I guess like because the scratch golfer is like more is more capable of making a bogey on that, it just makes it more fair, I guess. It's like the one hole where the scratch golfer is going to have a difficult time, so you might as well not give the other guy a stroke.
And there's there's always the theory too that like the longer the hole, there's just more chances for the bogey golfer to just fuck up.
Yeah.
Right? Like par 3, even if it's 210, let's call it a 12 handicap, could pull out like a hybrid, whack it up near the green, chip on, and like there was only really one option for them to fuck it up on like a 510-yard par 5, even though that's for a lower handicap, like a much easier hole that you should par birdie much more often. Like for the 12 or 15 or 18, whatever handicap, that is like a drive. You have a chance to really fuck up the hole. A second shot, now you have another chance to really fuck up the hole. Third shot, like you could blade a wedge. It's like there's so many chances for you to just mess up the hole.
And there's only 18 holes that they can choose from, so they have to pick one of them that are from the 14 to 18 range. So like I guess they look at it and say, with that theory, all right, this is a 210-yard par 3. The odds are they're both going to struggle on this hole. Let's not give the bogey golfer a stroke here. Let's make sure that they both play this legit, and then we'll give the stroke on the longer hole where he has more chances to fuck up. But there we go. We just worked it out.
Can I be honest with you? I don't know which side we're arguing for right now.
I'm now arguing on the side of it makes sense as to why it's a higher handicapped hole.
Okay, so we convinced ourselves that we were originally wrong.
Yeah, because I think that explanation makes sense, where it's like out of all 18 holes, the bogey golfer has the best chance of catching the scratch golfer on a bad hole here because it's so difficult.
Well, I'll say too, it's very dependent on results, it seems like, because you'll step up to a par 3 and a higher handicap will get a stroke and they'll hit a good shot and you'll be like, can't believe this guy strokes on a par 3. What a joke.
Yeah.
Or you'll step up and be like, the guy will hit a shitty shot and you'll be like, this is a 210-yard par 3 and he didn't get a shot here. They're telling me this hole's a 17th easiest hole, hardest hole. So it kind of depends on what happens.
I'll be honest. I spent this whole time trying to find the 4-iron I hit at Rockville, and I found it, and I'm happy with watching it. So this whole thing was a success.
Well, Trent has lived on the other side of this where he's gotten strokes on par 3s, and he's actually felt bad about it because he plays so well, hits the green he's lying 0. It's just like it makes no sense. So half the time, if you go back and watch all of our travel series before we restructured the format for this one at Bandon, which I think is a lot more fair, whereas Trent just got one stroke a fucking hole, he was getting like 28 strokes, and some holes he was getting 2, and then on every par 3 he was getting 1, and like Trent was just shooting 101s and just dusting us because every par 3 he's hitting in 0. And you'd see me and Lurch just go, well, I mean, he's just putting 1. He's hole in 1 for Trent coming out. Like, it's just makes a 2-net 1. It's no problem.
My buddy Mike, who I've discussed plenty, he's like a 20, 19, somewhere around that handicap. And we just call him net ace because he makes 2-net 1s like you wouldn't believe. He does it all the time. Every par 3 we come to that he strokes, it'll be like a 190-yard par 3, and he'll hit like a 3-wood to 6 feet and make it for a 2-net 1, and you're just like, all right, I'll go fuck myself. So it can be infuriating. Wealthfront, all right? After answering just a few questions, Wealthfront will build you a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds in minutes. Clearly, we do not know what we're talking about in this space. Luckily, there's someone like Wealthfront. You could build your own portfolio with clean energy funds, crypto, trust, cannabis, tech, hundreds of other investments that, again, I'm sure you hear. Maybe you do more research. Maybe you know more about the world than we do. But you hear these things pop up in terms of great ways to make money, to see great returns. Wealthfront even offers a socially responsible portfolio, a mix of funds built around human rights, climate change, sustainability, and diversity. All very good things in a world that is progressing and moving along in a better way. Best of all, Wealthfront is totally automated. They do all the trading, all the rebalancing. They even help you lower your tax bill while you invest. Wealthfront is trusted with over $27 billion in assets, helping nearly 500,000 people build their wealth. Get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, okay, by going to wealthfront.com/4. So to start building your wealth and get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, go to wealthfront.com/4. That is wealthfront.com/4 to start building your wealth. Again, that's wealthfront.com/4 and get started today. Okay. Garrett says, do you guys think you will ever do a sandbagger with the Chicklets crew? Would you do a 4-man scramble against Whit, Biz, and 2 other hockey guys? I would assume we're going to have some sort of golf match against them at some point. We were obviously supposed to do the Whitney match a few years ago. That didn't work out. Amateur status, USGA, the whole shebang. People remember that saga. But I would assume we're destined towards something. We've done stuff before, usually with them around hockey, whether it was the Islanders run, whether people forget that Whit was with me when I watched Game 7 of the Blues winning the Stanley Cup, and we were all out at Pebble Beach. And he actually came to the US Open, did a bunch of stuff with us. So we've done stuff before. We're all both very busy. Chicklets Cups that went on sale last night. That's coming up in Vegas. We're doing Barstool Classic all the time. We're filming stuff all the time, as are they. And I think they're pretty fucking content. Like, Whit's pretty content living his life and just hanging out. So getting them to fly around and do shit with us when we're not busy doing stuff, it's just tricky. But I think everybody's for it. I hope someday we do get to do a little match against the Chicklets boys.
Yeah, I think there have been rumblings even on their show about me and Biz doing a match, something like that. I mean, I would imagine at some point, someday, something like that will happen.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, we're all friendly with the Chicklets guys. I mean, Whitney will text me after every game. He loves to fucking rag on the Islanders, and they're just good guys. I go to the Chicklets Cups, which is actually, it's on sale now. It's an awesome event. We're going to Vegas, Super Bowl week, or the week before the Super Bowl week now, right? Because Super Bowl week changed. Because they're
Super Bowl week's a week later now.
Yeah, so it's the week that Super Bowl week used to be. And it's gonna be Vegas. It's across the street from the Strat Hotel, that like the Seattle Needle looking hotel in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's just fun, man. Roller hockey in the desert's gonna be incredible. I'm a point per game roller hockey player. We all know that. I've actually, speaking of roller hockey, I've switched teams. I did not request a trade, but I guess I was a free agent signing, maybe like a restricted free agent signing. They offer sheeted me, maybe.
What?
Did you get kicked off your team?
No.
Is that what you're trying to explain?
No.
Right.
No.
Just don't throw all this lingo at us and just tell us that you were a locker room cancer and they kicked you out.
No. So I got elbow surgery, like a warrior, and ended up playing golf and all this stuff, and ruined my fucking elbow because I played in 3 concerts in the last 2 months and getting it. But I couldn't play in the last season, this like winter season, the November to December season. And it looks like they won their first playoff game, so they're doing pretty well without me. But the other thing is, during that time, a bunch of my really good buddies who also play roller hockey, who like I've always been like jealous that they were on a team, they're now starting their own team because like a little bit more of our crew is like starting to play like these men's league teams. So we're now grabbing guys from other teams that they've always been on, and we're creating our own team. So it's either I play in 2 or I play in 1. I'm probably going to play in 1. It's a super friends team. Like I loved the other team. It's like a bunch of guys that I'm buddies with now, and 2 of the guys I'm really good buddies with. But like these are the guys I grew up with, and they want to put. You have to see the logo. Like it's like the Borelli's guy, and like Sauce is across the chest.
What's the
like,
team name?
It's Long Island Sauce, I think, is going to be the name, and it's all there's plates of pasta on the shoulders, on the jerseys.
Okay.
Big move for like that's a big rec league move to have Borelli sponsor like a team to some degree.
Huge.
I mean, you got to do that.
Yeah, the other one was like the Outcast, which was like not like that's not my name, like that. Like I just thought the Borelli's thing would be cool. Maybe I could get some guys from the Outcast on this team, so at least like I'm not like burning bridges. Listen, it's the fucking cost of the league, man. Like they grabbed me. They had an offer for me. I liked it. The offer was that they were gonna put my logo on their chest, and I went with them. So it's almost like Johnny T leaving the Islanders. It's not the greatest move, but I had to do what was best for me.
Let me ask you a couple questions. One, for the Chicklets Cup, I want to get on a team for the Chicklets Cup. I would love to play in that.
Yeah,
I missed the last one.
It's so much fun.
We had a classic, I believe, on like whatever, so I couldn't make it. So I heard obviously the roller hockey, the street hockey was phenomenal, and I haven't, grew up playing street hockey, obviously in the little cul-de-sac back in St. Charles, Missouri. Then we would also play in this church parking lot, and we would get kicked out like almost every day. The real good days is when you could sneak on to. We had McNair Park right next to our home, and you would sneak in. They put in like brand new tennis courts. There were like 4 tennis courts, and they had, obviously tennis courts have like the really tall chain link fence around it. So you could play there because all your shots would just missed the net would just get captured by the thing. And it would by far the best arena to play in because we miss the net all the time. So when you play in the church parking lot, you try to whiz one by the goalie's shoulder or something, you miss the net, you got to skate fucking 400 yards down and go get the ball, which was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Long story short, one of my 2 things, I would love to play Chicklets Cup. Number 2 is if anybody's listening that's got men's league ice hockey team here in the Phoenix Scottsdale area, I need to get on a team. It's been since pre-COVID. I was skating twice a week pre-COVID, which was great because I refused to go to the gym. I hate going to the gym. When I got out of college, I said I'm never going and doing legitimate weightlifting ever again. I hated it. And I need to work out. I need to try to be a little bit more of a healthy person. Obviously, Trifecta's helped with that. But I need to be a little bit more of a healthy person. Hockey is one of the great workouts in the world, and I want to skate again, so I need a team. This one guy hit me up. I'm going to try to potentially play. They play Friday night games. I'm like, pal, Friday night games is a little bit tough. It's just a tough one. I'm going to try and make it when I can. I need like a good Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night team or 2 where I can skate consistently, get that workout in, mix it up with the boys, maybe a couple beers afterwards. I'm looking for that, so just please hit me up. DM me, email me. I don't give a fuck how you contact me, but I would love to get on a men's league team or 2 in the Phoenix Scottsdale area.
If we're doing requests now, I like to do requests on this podcast.
All right, what do you need? What do you need? A TV? Do you need a
No.
lawnmower? What do you
Listen,
need?
A bed? You're looking for a bed, Frank?
No, the reason why I did the TV thing last time is because I didn't know what the best TV to get, and no one's getting me a fucking free TV. I needed to know, and I've landed on a TV, fellas. I've landed on a TV. I've gotten so many messages from people that work at Best Buy. These guys out. It's called the LG OLED C1, I believe it's called. They said it's gonna blow your fucking.
Spaceship? What is that?
It's gonna blow your fucking mind. They said like. Apparently, they're all the individual pixels light up. I don't know. OLED, it's nuts. That's the one I think I'm going to get. It's between the Sony OLED or the LG LED. I don't know.
You're throwing a lot of letters at us, pal.
Here's the thing that I want to say. Uncle Frankie's getting fucking married, right? So there's a lot of things that go into this. Bands. All right. This is a pretty interesting topic. Whether you go with a DJ or you go with a live band. So I am a live performance person. I love going to see live music. The problem is when you get into the live band territory, there's a lot of very corny bands. Like you've ever seen the movie Wedding Singer. They show up, they just sing their ballads, and you live and die by the band. DJ, you know what you're getting. He's going to play the hits. People are going to go crazy. They're going to dance. It's very, very similar to every other wedding you've ever gone to. When you get a good band, it's a fucking showstopper. It's a memory. It's a memory. Like, you're basically going to a live concert. If you get, like, a legit band to show up at your fucking wedding, everyone's like, holy fuck. Like, they're playing our favorite songs. They're playing them incredible. And it's like a 10-piece, wow, they're right in front of your face. You got fucking horns. You got trumpets. You got 2 singers. They're going crazy. I've been looking for fucking bands that are going to play on Long Island. I've seen a couple bad ones, man. I've had a couple phone calls with a couple bad ones. I've had a couple.
What, do they send you tapes or something? What do they send you?
They got tapes. They've got websites. They've got performances that they've done at other ones, and it's just like it's very hard to tell them like, listen, like we just don't like your voice, like tough, but like we got to go on. Other ones are insanely expensive, like where you're just like, dude. One band told me the price, and I shit you not. I said, does Bruno Mars come and sing at the wedding? Because I couldn't imagine.
What was the number?
Price.
Give me the number. Give me the number.
Bro,
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, guess what they fucking said for like.
Well, it's always tough when we do this because you now we're gonna go high because you said it was such a shocking number. But
it was. Well, can I just say the number?
I will say because I know the number because you had mentioned this to me before, so I'm not gonna guess, but it's a big number.
It's a big number, dude.
For like 4 hours, $10,000.
It was $40,000.
What?
I literally said, does Bruno Mars come in? I said, like, listen, like my budget's like,
What?
my budget's like 5. They were like, whoa, what's your budget? I was like, honestly, I can maybe splurge like 5.
I got a crisp
To, like,
$20 bill for
40?
you.
They were like, they're like, oh, sweetie, it's going to be like, it's usually like 25 to 40 depending on. I was like, I literally said, does Bruno Mars come and sing at the wedding? Because I don't know how much more else Bruno Mars makes for like 3 hours to say, like, how much more could he possibly make?
They're making 10 grand an hour. Their hourly rate is 10,000 American dollars.
You're not gonna like this, and I know this has been a controversial thing on the internet recently, but I'm a DJ guy. You're not?
Listen, I am a DJ guy too, because that's all I've really gone to.
Right.
And then I've heard stories and seen videos of these bands, and you also realize that like the richer people, quote unquote, all have these amazing bands at these weddings. Like I haven't been to many of them. I've been to one that's had a live band, and it was fucking mind blowing. And I was really young, and I still remember it being like, wow, I just went to a concert, like my first concert ever, essentially. So there's a big difference between a cheap band where it's like, oh, this guy's up there with a fucking guitar and he thinks he's fucking Barry Manilow and he's putting everyone to sleep while they eat their steak, or there's like these crazy good bands. My question to the people that are listening are like, if you have a band that you think is worthy of playing at the Borelli's wedding and you think that you're not going to be $40,000, send me a DM, send me an email, whatever. I don't know. Maybe you know someone on the Northeast that is amazing. Maybe you had one at your wedding. I just want to be the guy that had the band at his wedding. I know that Trent doesn't like bands, but I just think if I can find the right one, people are going to leave that place being like, wow, that was something. That was an experience. I want an experience.
You don't like live bands, or you just prefer a DJ?
I prefer a DJ, and it's for every reason that Frankie has said, where like there's almost no margin. I always get confused when we talk about this stuff with margin of error. But like DJ is a DJ. They don't have to play the music. They just have to press play, and they have all of the hits at their disposal. Like it's almost they can't miss. It's hard for them to be bad. Bands, it's like who knows what you're gonna get, and if you're not paying $40,000.
What if the guy just like doesn't have a voice?
Right.
Like, what if he loses his voice? What if he gets into a car accident? What if he can't show up that day, right? Like, there's a big
You plug in an
risk.
iPod and you hit play. Like, what's the...
Right. That's my idea is, like, can you do a mix? Like, can they do, like, 2 sets and in the middle you play all the hits on the fucking...
Listen, for $15,000, I'll run the aux cord.
Dude,
right?
These people think I have the budget of, like, a fucking Abu Dhabi prince. Like, I was like, what do you think this is? Who's paying this? Who pays that for a
I'll
wedding?
maybe go down to 12.5 if I'm feeling good that day, but nothing lower than that.
So reach out to me. I know that a lot of people listen to this podcast, and I'm not looking for anything for free. I just want to know. I want to know the good bands out there. I'll see the fucking prices. I'll figure it out on my own. I just want to know who are the good bands. Send them to me, and then I'll make the decision. That's what I can't find them on the internet. You can't type in like good bands for weddings. It's all like fucking stupid sponsored shit. So I'm gonna need the help of the people because it is a very big decision, massive.
There you go.
So you're hanging out with some friends. You're putting back a few drinks. A few becomes a few too many. As the evening comes to an end, people start to head out. You think of calling for a ride, but no, you live close by. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyway? Even if so, what's the worst that could happen? Maybe your insurance goes up. You lose your license. You lose your job. You total your car. You kill someone. Everybody knows the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still, for whatever reason, does not stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out right now protecting our roads from impaired drivers to save lives. A little PSA here. If you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, please think again. Play it safe. Plan ahead to get a ride. Only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. I know you've heard that before, but it's incredibly important. Thank God for ride-sharing apps, Uber, Lyft, etc. Those things exist now. It's insanely easy to just ensure you drive sober or you don't drive at all. It's that simple. For more information about the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign, visit www.nhtsa.gov/drivesober. Much simpler than our last one. www.nhtsa.gov/drive-sober. And again, drive sober or get pulled over. It's really quite simple. It's just never, ever, ever going to be worth it. It's such an solvable issue. And one of the great things people think like, oh, I can't leave my car here. I'm gonna have to come get it in the morning. What if you just kill someone? Or what if you kill yourself? That wasn't that going. You have to get your car in the morning, which is insanely easy. You just you order a fucking Uber and you just sit in the back of your Uber and scroll through your phone like you would on your couch anyways. It's the same experience, except you're not risking lives, ruining your life, totaling your car, going to jail, whatever. So please just drive sober or you will get pulled over and you will ruin your life or somebody else's life. It's that simple.
It's never going to happen until it happens. Everyone thinks
Right.
It's going to be fine.
Right.
I'm just going to go get my car. I'm going to drive it home, whatever. And it's all good until it's not. And then once it's not, there's no going back.
It's just the worst. Like you just can't.
You can't risk it.
No. You can't even like get into Canada if you have a DUI. Like
No,
we go to Cabot a few years ago, and it's like you literally, if somebody has a DUI or something like that on their record, they won't let you into the country. It's like, and it makes sense. Like that's an insanely dangerous, stupid, irresponsible thing to do. So please, out there listening, if you're gonna have a few drinks, great. Even if you drove to the bar or to the friend's house and then you had some drinks, totally fine. You just can't drive home. Come get your car another time when you're sober. It's that simple. Drive sober or you will get pulled over. Okay. Brett, we're going to do one more. Brett says, now that it's fall/winter season for most places, how much does the cold weather really actually affect golf? That's a good question. I think it's way harder to play golf when it's cold. It's hard to move your body. You need to be loose, right? You want to be loosey-goosey out there. You need to be turning. You need a hip action, all kinds of good stuff. You just can't do that when it's cold, especially when you get old and you're pathetic and you never work out. You never stretch. Your body sucks. And now you're out there in the cold. You're not limber. So, yeah, I'm going to say the ball doesn't go anywhere, right? Like it feels like a rock. Your club's hitting a rock. You hit it a little bit thin in your hands. You could feel the pain through your bones and your arms when you hit it thin. Yeah, all that shit adds up. And I think cold weather golf makes the game way harder.
Anything that makes golf 1% harder is shitty. And the weather does that. When it gets cold, anything that is not perfect conditions makes golf so much harder. So when it is cold, and I got something going on with my knees now. When I sit down for too long and I stand up, my knees hurt. And I'm not bullshitting. I'm not kidding. And it's going to happen after this podcast. Like I'm sitting on my couch.
Somebody put this guy in a hole.
Dude, it's bad. And I know when I stand up and we're done here, I'm going to hear something pop and it's just going to be like a little uncomfortable.
Do you wince? Do you make a noise? Do you go, ugh?
Nothing audible yet. Nothing audible. But
Okay.
I think we're certainly on that way. And the cold weather does not help. Getting old sucks, dude. I'm not ready for it. I still, in my brain, I talk about this with my siblings sometimes. Like, in your brain, how old do you feel? Or, like, when do you think you stopped, like, mentally maturing? Might be the wrong way to say it. But I feel like I'm 23. I think I'm 23 years old. But I'm actually...
I think I'm 12. But
no, you don't.
Yes, I do, dude. I walk around here like I'm 12, bro. I have a brain of a 12-year-old, and then I sometimes have to take a step back and be like, especially with all the things going on in my life now, getting a house, the wedding, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I can't be doing this. This is against the law. I'm 12 years old.
That's fair. In my brain, I'm 23, and I don't.
I think I'm about a junior in college. I feel like I'm about a junior in college.
Okay, so you're like 21.
Somewhere, yeah. I think I'm like 21. I still love to do the same shit I loved to do when I was 21. Almost identical. I like to drink and like drink too much whenever I do drink, or not drink at all. That's what I like to do. I like to eat junk food like an absolute asshole. I like to be a little bit active, but not like too active. And I like to have some responsibility. Like I'm not a freshman in college, but like a junior where I kind of have an idea what I'm doing in my life, or I think I do, but I'm not like fully there. So yeah, I think I'm about a junior in college.
I was so interested in this question that I asked my dad, who recently turned 70 years old. And I was like, how old do you feel? And I know that's a strange question, but like how old do you feel in your mind? And he said he feels 35. He thinks
Wow.
after 35, he has what you're saying, Riggs, like he has pretty much all the same interests. He feels the same way about everything. He's like, I'm 70 years old, but I genuinely believe that I'm 35 years old. And I thought that was super interesting.
It is.
Like he doesn't, like when you get to that age, like he's 70, but he definitely doesn't feel 70. Like I don't feel 32. But when you get that old and your body starts to actually break down and you like have to have knee surgery and all these surgeries just to walk around, but in your brain you're like, I'm 35. Like why is this happening? It's such a strange human dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 34, and I, again, consider myself about a junior in college in terms of my maturity and what I like to do and all those things I explained. Dude, when we were in college, if there was like somebody knew a 34-year-old, they knew a fucking grandfather. If somebody you met like a 34-year-old woman at a bar or something, you were like, oh man, like wow, I'm fucking 34. I'm 34 now. Like that's me, and I don't. So yeah, it's really bizarre. I think you're right. For whatever reason, I think everyone feels way younger than they are. Do you ever get to like? Are you ever 88 and you're like, yep, I'm 88?
Boy, I'm fucking 88 and I feel 88. Maybe, but I really don't. I think at a certain point, your body just keeps going and you're like, I get that that's who I am, but in my mind, I'm certainly not that old. It's weird, man. It's weird.
It's bizarre to think about. Very bizarre to think about. All right, fellas. I think that's all I have. I'm really pumped for this weekend. We got the whole thing, the whole excitement of it being right before Christmas. Everything is really going to be exciting about this weekend. So I'm jacked up. We'll obviously be all over it. We'll be tweeting our asses off the whole time. And then we'll be here to respond to it next week on Tuesday. Tonight, make sure you check out on Foreplay Golf on YouTube. We got Sheep Ranch, okay? A lot of hype about this course, the views, the Court Crenshaw, the architects, what they did, how they transformed it, how we played. Trent plays great golf. Another big match, huge match. It's a must-win for myself and Trent. So get jacked up and make sure you're watching tonight, 8 p.m.
A lot of talk about internet commenters and the way that the internet works tonight, or once you're done listening to this, go and unsubscribe, resubscribe to the podcast, leave a 5-star review, write something nice. If you're part of that silent majority of the normal people that are just going from their car to their office and they just enjoy to listen to a couple of guys talk about golf and their lives, just go help us out by drowning out all the fucking assholes that we talked about that have no lives and have no idea what they're doing on this thing. And let's figure out a way to make the world a better place and start with the Foreplay Podcast rating system on the iTunes charts. So that's all I got.
Let's go Tiger and Charlie.
Yep.
We'll see you on Tuesday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.